Yellow, yellow, and welcome back. It's your friendly neighborhood qualifying psychotherapist here, Joe Dinsdale from Multi Therapy. Welcome. I hope you all are having a great day. Today, we're going to be talking about social hacking because our theme of the week is how to make adult friends. How do you do it? Sometimes it can be super difficult, I feel ya, because there's this whole awkward feeling, almost like you're still in high school. Maybe you're worried people have already found their group, so they don't want any more friends. But I'm here to tell you, there's so many people out there. Guess what? There's like an epidemic of loneliness out there. So how do we round up all these lonely people and get them to interact with each other? That's what we're going for. Hi, Matt. Hi, Haley. How are you guys doing? I'm looking comfy. Yes, this is actually my favorite sweater. I call this my Thanksgiving sweater because I bought it for Thanksgiving. Haley, you'd like to be hypnotized by me. Okay. I got tons of videos for that. Yeah, I kind of want to do a social confidence hypnosis. That'd be kind of fun. Hey, Dennis. How are you doing? Haley, yes, yeah. Social confidence hypnosis would be super awesome, but oh my gosh, guys, I set up a project and it is going exceedingly well, but I'm so busy now because I basically asked around to see if anybody was interested in doing improv hypnosis with me. Or sorry, improv therapy. Improv hypnosis I've already done, but improv therapy is new. I'll be doing kind of therapy sessions with different characters that these actors come up with. I've already had my first one, and I've filmed 3 now. So I'm very excited to slowly release those. I'm thinking maybe Sundays can be improv therapy day where we just dive into all that fun stuff. And yes, so I'm trying to squeeze in as much fun content for you guys because our community is the best one on the internet. So of course you guys deserve the world. Absolutely. But you could use hypnosis for serious social anxiety. Okay, yeah. I've definitely had my fair share of social anxiety. It took me a lot. Even doing like these online streams, sometimes I get a little bit like, whoa, ahead of time. But you got to tell yourself, you got to live your authentic life. What does that look like, right? For me, it's being weird on the internet and educating people about mental health. That's what I'm passionate about. So I'm not going to let the little voice in the back of my head say, oh, people are judging you. Don't do it, guys. Just live your life, okay? Haley, you said, do you have a hypnosis vid on how to deal with bullying because you're trans and identify as a girl? Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're getting bullied, Haley. That's really sad. Oh, that's awful. I'm really sorry to hear that because did you just recently come out and is it people kind of like adjusting to the news or is it just in general? Yeah, that is difficult. Yeah, absolutely. I am an ally for sure. And if that's the case, Haley, I hope you're able to find some people, make some new friends to find the support that you need. Because sometimes it's just like a big adjustment, right? Sometimes we got to check in with our friend group and say, do these people really match my values, right? I hear that quite often with like high school friends. You know, you've been friends for years and years. And then you think, you know, this person has changed. I've changed. Is this still something I want to do? And if not, that's okay, right? But it's also good to be transparent. I always feel bad for people who just get ghosted. That's always hard. You've been out and it's in general. You're 21 right now. Haley, I hope you're able to get some extra support when it comes to the professional mental health too. It sounds like, you know, you could use somebody to kind of check up on you. That's kind of what I would do if I were in your shoes. Really have that support system, build it out. Yeah, talk to the community members. I know that depending on where you are, hopefully that there's like LGBTQ plus group towards you. And when it comes to bullying as well, it's important not to give in to what they want out of the bullying, okay? So for example, sometimes bullies want to see you upset, or they want you to go away or something, right? And it's trying to figure out what they're getting out of it, right? Especially if they keep coming back to you and bullying you over and over and over again. It's like, what is this person getting out of it? And how can I adjust my behavior? How can I report this, right? If you're 21, maybe you're in university and people are bullying you. It's okay to report that, right? Especially if you're worried about your safety. Yeah, thank you for sharing, and I really hope things get better for you. Matt, you lost a lot of friendship because of that. There's lots of phone lifelines too. Yeah, there are some great free helplines out there, guys. So if you just type in kind of like where you are, mental health helpline, typically there's some crisis lines out there too, they're great to use. Absolutely. Oh, Matt, you lost a friendship because of drifting apart. I know it's not easy, especially I think we all put a lot of value on long friendships because it's like, this person has known me for so long. You want to keep that going. But yeah, sometimes there's just like a line in the sand where you're like, okay, I can no longer get behind how this person is behaving. Yeah, people change. All right, guys. So the specific topic I wanted to talk about today was looking for adult friends, right? So perhaps, you find that you're struggling, as a kid, maybe it was easy, maybe it wasn't. Back in the day, it's like you'd sit on some swings together and then you say you want to be friends and you be friends, right? But it's like nobody gives you the manual on how to make friends in this day and age and this economy, right? It's a lot. It absolutely is a lot. And I've been there too. I moved to a new city, recently. So it was kind of like, how do I get set up in this place? And there was a few things I tried, a few things that worked, a few things that didn't work, trying the apps. I tried like a few like friendship apps just to meet some people. I didn't find those very helpful, but maybe your experience will be better. There are like specific apps to meet up with friends. I've tried signing up for clubs. That works a bit better for me, like joining clubs with similar interests and just talking to people is very nice. And then another one is, my kid goes to school, so talking with the parents there and making friends that way. So specifically, let me just check the comments here real quick. Haley, you flopped during my hypnosis videos. That's great. That's great. I love my hypnosis videos. Ugh, they're so great. I love making them, but sometimes I run out of ideas. So that's why I like to fill in things with other mental health stuff too. So science shows that when you meet somebody new, you almost always walk away thinking that they liked you less than they actually did. This is just like a study that they've done. Your brain is very strict on yourself. It focuses you to remember the cringe moments, right? While other people are actually focusing on how nice it was to talk to you. So the first step, if you're going to do like this kind of social hacking experimentation stuff, just assume everyone likes you 20% more than you think they do. Stop trying to adjust your performance in front of them, right? Just be yourself, because you want people to accept you for who you are, right? Often, especially like in our Western culture, we are taught to people please, right? To do exactly what we think the other person wants them to. But it's okay to reel that in a little bit sometimes. Sometimes we take it too far and we're really trying to be somebody we're not to get another person to like us. And that's no bueno, because you want to be yourself, right? Yeah. So, okay. There's a few studies, like about how long it takes someone from stranger to casual friends, okay? Um, it's it just depends, right? I would say personally, I don't know. I think it just depends on how quickly you click, right? I've met some people where I'm like, you're my friend now, right? Like after the first, meeting, and then like after a few hangouts, we'll be really close. Sometimes it takes a lot longer, right? But just remember, you're not failing if you don't click instantly with somebody, right? It's just a process to become close with somebody. And there are like specific things that you can remember. Number one being like familiarity. You want to kind of keep your routine the same. If you're running into the same people every time, Matt, I know you go to the gym. I'm sure your routine, maybe you have one. You run into the same people over and over again. And that builds familiarity. And people like familiarity when it comes to deciding whether they want to be your friend or not. Hi, CWZ. How are you doing? Matt, you say you think you struggle with the part of taking the next step. Using meetup.com has been easy to use and sign up. It's getting off the couch that's going. Oh, and going that's hard. Yes, absolutely. That's where I struggle too with these meetup apps or like the friendship apps, is that you're going from zero to kind of like this high pressure situation of like, oh, I have to get this person to like me, right? Stressful. Absolutely. Very stressful. So, how do you like get that stress down? And I suppose with these like friendship apps, I personally would do kind of an activity, right? Something that you're not like looking at the person the whole time. You guys have like this common thing that you're doing. Like for example, bowling, right? If you guys end up like really not clicking socially, at least you can get a few bowls in and call it a day, right? Yeah. So if we kind of think about the small talking situation too, I find a lot of people struggle with kind of breaking the ice. And just remember too, guys, when it comes to small talk, it takes two to tango. All right. You'd need the other person to also jump in as well sometimes. So sometimes, as hard as you try to make a small talk work, it doesn't work. Doesn't mean necessarily mean it's your fault or anything. Okay, guys. Sometimes just, yeah, the other person doesn't want to talk or is also really bad at small talk, and that's okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of like little things you can do. There's kind of like contextual comments you can use. So something that's happening around you. So say you're at your kid's school and there's a parent next to you and you're just looking to make small talk. It's like, oh, geez, look at all those icicles up there. Do you think that's dangerous? I don't know, something like that. That's literally just because that's what I was thinking today. Or, like I've been staring at those snacks for 10 minutes. It gives another person an easy thing to say yes and. That's kind of an improv skill. Yes and is something we use in improv because it helps build the story more. If you say no, it kind of cuts that story off there. So if you're struggling in small talk, say yes and build on it, right? You don't want to give like short answers. Obviously, don't lie if it's a no situation, but always add to the conversation or follow up with a question too. If you get stuck, there's some key pillars of topics you can talk to about people. There's family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So we call that the Ford method. It's all the first letters: family, occupation, recreation, dreams. These topics, if you remember the Ford method, then you're always going to have something to pull out of it. Me personally, I like weather too. Weather, we love to talk about the weather in Canada. That's like our favorite thing. I don't know why that is, but we all do it. Let's just check on the chat here. Matt, CWZ. I don't know how many people are in the chat today. That's okay. Sometimes I keep my phone open to check, but we move. Okay, so another thing is, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, looking for people who actually engage with you, listening to your stories, helping you. I'm gonna release a full video on here too of my favorite social hacks. This is just kind of like the preamble to the big video. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, make sure you stay tuned, subscribe so you can check that out. All right, and if you guys are on board, I'm gonna challenge you to a little social experiment, okay? So your mission this week involves 3 specific action steps, okay? So number 1, the 5-second launch, okay? When you see somebody you want to talk to, maybe you already have somebody in mind, maybe you don't, you just count back from 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hi, before your brain tries to talk you out of it, okay? Don't wait for a clever line, just say hi. You can use one of the forward things, or you can just introduce yourself, right? Depends on what you want to go for. But yeah, that's the way to kind of overcome that social anxiety, is just, you gotta just jump into it. Because once you're engaged, you know, it is what it is. It's a practice. And that's taking one small step towards building up that confidence and socialization. Okay, just do it. Give it a try. And if it's awkward, it's awkward. Awkwardness feels really bad, but it's not the end of the world. One awkward conversation, you know, won't end things for you. Matt Frank, you think it's a struggle with the part of taking the next step? Oh, I already read that, sorry. It's simple and relatable weather. Absolutely, yeah, that's very contextual, isn't it? Everybody has to be enduring the weather, let us say that. Especially with the polar vortex, that's a very easy thing to talk about. All right, so the number 2 challenge I have is called the interested versus the interesting rule. So this is about trying to stop looking impressive. Ask them how they got into their hobby or why they like this neighborhood. Sometimes we get caught up in like trying to impress them with our stories that we almost like don't hear what they're saying, because you're almost like thinking of a witty retort. But a lot of the time, just being curious about somebody is enough for them to like you, because it makes them feel important, makes them feel listened to. So that's the difference, okay? So that's the number 2 challenge, is get curious about the people that you want to be friends with. Number 3, specific invite. You know, instead of saying we should hang out sometime, you can invite them to like a group situation. You can say, oh, like, I'm going to the taco spot with my husband on Thursday. You want to join? You know, low pressure and clear is kind of like, feel free to come if you want to, right? Like, I'm going somewhere, feel free to join. That's very low effort, right? It gives them a way to opt out. It's not a one-on-one thing. And if you want to do a one-on-one thing, it's brave, right? It's okay if you feel like you're at that point, but there's other options too. So just remember this, you know, you're not asking for a favor by being someone's friend, okay? You are a bonus. You really are. So believe in yourself, guys. You know, you bring your own humor, your own wits, your own intelligence, your own style to the table, okay? If they don't click with you, that's all right, you know? It's just a mismatch, and we move on. We find more people to try to connect with, okay? So yeah, just take a deep breath and dive into things. I believe in you guys. Dennis says, oh my gosh, the worst is when it's like an interrogation. Yeah. I do really love just analyzing all this stuff, right? Like I'm a psychotherapist qualifying, so it's really interesting how much psychology goes in towards having a good conversation and breaking it down into like small bite-sized pieces to kind of improve and bypass the social anxiety, right? Especially, you got to think about where your social anxiety comes from. Like, were you always shy as a kid, or were you pretty confident and then something happened and then you got shyer? Like, I hear a lot of stories where people get a lot more shy in teenager years. That's when they kind of have a lot of negative experiences with socializing. So they just kind of shut it down, right? It doesn't feel safe anymore to put yourself out there and try to have these new conversations. And it makes sense, right? Like you're trying to protect yourself, you're trying to not get hurt again. But it's okay because we can heal these parts of ourselves, guys. We can heal these parts of ourselves simply by taking the risk, deciding I am willing to take the risk of getting hurt. It's worth the risk because I might gain a friend out of it. And if I don't, then that's okay. You know, I might be a little disappointed, I might be a little hurt, but I will be able to overcome that. And that's kind of the end lesson here, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little mini live stream. Again, I do apologize for canceling the last one. I got into a little fender bender. This poor gentleman had a medical issue, basically ended up hitting my car because he was having this medical issue. And yeah, it was pretty intense. So I was actually like on my way back driving to do the live stream and I got stuck in a snowbank. Yeah, but I'm glad I'm okay. I hope he's okay. They took him in an ambulance. So yeah. What else? Any updates? Not so much. I hope you guys, if you enjoyed this, you subscribe. Our community is one of the best on the internet, if not the best. Super good vibes, super chill people. We always support each other here, talk mental health. We talk, what else do we talk about? Hypnosis, of course. That's one of our passions. And I have a membership. If you'd like to join, feel free to. I have a website you can check out, multitherapy.co. If you're in Canada, I can do psychotherapy sessions with you or hypnosis sessions. So feel free to reach out. Again, my name is Johanna Dinsdale. Thank you so much for tuning in. Matt, thanks for moderating this session. It was a lot of fun. Great to catch up with you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and multi goodbye.